If you're a man over 60 and you've started waking up at night to pee more than once, or you find yourself standing there waiting for the stream to start, wondering why it takes so long, I want you to listen closely. These are not just normal signs of aging. They're signals from your body, and more specifically, from your prostate, asking for attention. I'm Dr. Emily Carter, a urologist and men's health specialist here at Inner Vitality. Over the past decade, I've worked with thousands of men who all told me the same thing. Doc, I guess it's just age catching up. But that's not the full story. What I've discovered again and again is that many of these issues, nighttime urination, weak flow, that lingering feeling that your bladder never truly empties, don't come from age alone. They come from everyday habits, small, seemingly harmless routines that quietly place stress on the prostate until it starts pushing back. You see, the prostate is incredibly sensitive to pressure, inflammation, and circulation. When we ignore those factors day after day, it becomes swollen, heavier, and less flexible. That's when the discomfort begins. The urgency, the interrupted sleep, the constant awareness of something off down there. But here's the encouraging part. Once you understand what's behind it, you can change it. You can calm that inflammation, relieve the pressure, and help your prostate return to balance naturally. No pills, no risky procedures, just smart, consistent care for one of the most overlooked organs in the male body. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through 3 everyday habits that silently damage the prostate and what to do instead. Stay with me until the end, because the third one is surprisingly common and often linked not just to urinary health, but also to your sexual performance and overall confidence as a man. Let's start with one of the most common and surprisingly harmful habits I see in men over 50, holding your urine too long. It seems harmless, right? You're busy, you're driving, or maybe you just don't like using public restrooms, so you wait a little longer. You finish what you're doing, push it off for a few minutes, then a few more. No big deal. But to your body, it's a much bigger deal than you think. Here's why. Your bladder sits directly above your prostate, like a soft balloon resting on a small cushion. And your prostate wraps around the urethra, that narrow tube that carries urine from your bladder through the penis. When the bladder fills up and stays full for too long, it presses downward, directly on the prostate. That constant pressure is like leaning on a sponge that's already sore. Over time, it irritates the tissue, restricts blood flow, and triggers the kind of low-grade inflammation that slowly leads to prostate enlargement. Now, think about what happens inside. When your bladder becomes overstretched, it loses some of its tone. It has to work harder to push urine through that narrow passageway surrounded by the prostate. This strain affects both organs. The bladder becomes fatigued, and the prostate becomes reactive, swollen, and less flexible. Eventually, the urethra feels like a tight funnel instead of an open tube, and that's when symptoms like weak flow, hesitancy, and nighttime trips to the bathroom become your new normal. Some men even develop what's called bladder outlet obstruction, meaning the bladder wants to empty, but the pathway is too narrow. The result? Incomplete emptying, constant pressure, and more irritation, a vicious cycle that keeps feeding itself. I once had a 6-7-year-old patient, George, who was proud of his iron bladder. He'd go hours without using the bathroom during long meetings. But over time, his nights became restless, his stream weaker, and his comfort gone. When he finally made one simple change, listening to his body and going when he needed to within weeks, his urgency dropped, his sleep improved, and his confidence returned. Your bladder and prostate aren't built to handle chronic pressure. They're designed for rhythm, fill, release, rest. When that rhythm is disrupted day after day, the tissues adapt in ways that work against you. The good news is, this is one of the easiest habits to fix. Start by paying attention to your body's early signals. Don't wait until the urge becomes uncomfortable or distracting. If you're in the middle of something, pause and take care of yourself. It takes 2 minutes and can save you years of discomfort. And if you're someone who often avoids public restrooms, consider this. The short inconvenience now can prevent a long-term problem later. Think of it as giving your prostate space to breathe. When you respond early, you relieve pressure before it builds. You improve circulation in the pelvic area, reduce inflammation, and give your body a chance to restore its natural rhythm. It's a small change, but it's one that can make a huge difference in how you feel every single day. And when your prostate is happier, you'll notice improvements not just in your urinary flow, but also in your energy, confidence, and even your sexual function. Next, let's talk about another surprisingly common culprit, one that has nothing to do with your bladder, yet affects your prostate just as much: constipation. This next habit surprises most men because, at first glance, it doesn't seem connected to the prostate at all, but it is profoundly so. I'm talking about constipation, something many men shrug off as a minor inconvenience, when in reality it places constant, hidden pressure on your prostate every single day. Here's what happens inside your body. Your rectum and your prostate are next-door neighbors. They share a tight space in your pelvis, separated by only a thin wall of tissue. When your bowels are backed up with hard, compacted stool, that mass presses directly against the back of your prostate. And unlike a quick burst of pressure, this isn't a momentary strain, it's a constant, steady push that can last for hours or even days. Imagine having a brick resting against a sponge all day long. Over time, that sponge becomes flattened, sore, and inflamed. That's exactly what happens when your colon stays full and unmoving. The prostate responds to that persistent stress with swelling, tenderness, and irritation. It's no coincidence that men who struggle with chronic constipation often report increased urinary problems, slower flow, and a feeling of pelvic heaviness. But the effects go even deeper. When stool stays too long in the body, it disrupts your gut microbiome, that delicate balance of bacteria that controls digestion, immune function, and inflammation. When this balance breaks down, inflammation spreads throughout the body, including to the prostate. Research has shown that chronic inflammation is one of the key drivers of benign prostatic hyperplasia, or BPH, the medical term for an enlarged prostate. So if you find yourself skipping days without a bowel movement, straining, or dealing with dry, hard stools, your prostate may be quietly paying the price. The good news is, your body responds quickly when you make small, consistent changes. Start by gently increasing your fiber intake. Choose soft, natural sources, cooked vegetables like carrots or squash, fruits like pears, berries, or prunes, and whole grains such as oats or brown rice. You can also sprinkle a tablespoon of ground flaxseed or chia seeds into your breakfast. These not only add bulk, but also create a soothing gel that helps move stool along without irritation. Next, drink more water. Real hydration is crucial for smooth digestion, and don't forget movement. Even a daily walk or a few minutes of gentle stretching helps your bowels stay active and responsive. When your digestion flows, your prostate relaxes. It's like clearing a crowded hallway. Everything else moves freely once the blockage is gone. Within a few weeks of better bowel health, many of my patients notice not just easier bathroom trips, but also fewer nighttime awakenings, less pelvic tension, and even a boost in sexual comfort and confidence. Constipation might seem like a simple digestive issue, but it's truly a prostate problem in disguise. Treat it with the same care you give any other part of your health, and your body, especially your prostate, will thank you. Now, let's look at the third and final habit, one that most men fall into after retirement, and that quietly weakens circulation and vitality in the very core of the body: sitting too long without movement. If there's one modern habit that quietly sabotages prostate health more than almost anything else, it's this: sitting for too long. It sounds harmless. You've worked hard all your life, and now you deserve some rest, maybe watching TV, reading, or scrolling on your phone in your favorite chair. But here's the truth. What feels like relaxation on the outside can turn into stagnation on the inside. Your pelvic region, the area that houses your bladder, colon, and prostate, is designed for movement. Every step you take, every time you shift your posture or stretch, blood and lymphatic fluids circulate through that area, bringing oxygen and nutrients while carrying away waste. When you sit still for hours, that natural circulation slows to a crawl. And that's when the problems begin. Reduced blood flow means less oxygen reaching your prostate. Waste products and inflammatory molecules begin to build up. The tissue becomes irritated and swollen. Over months and years, this can lead to chronic low-grade inflammation, one of the key factors behind prostate enlargement and erectile dysfunction. Think of your prostate like a sponge. When it's gently moved and nourished with fresh blood, it stays soft, healthy, and responsive. But when it's pressed down all day, never squeezed, never refreshed, it stiffens and starts collecting toxins. Many men who spend long hours sitting develop exactly that problem, a stagnant, tense pelvis that quietly erodes their comfort and performance. I once worked with a retired accountant named David, 72 years old, who spent most of his day reading and watching television. His main complaints were weak flow, frequent urination, and low energy. We didn't start with medication. We started with movement snacks, tiny 2-minute bursts of activity every 30 to 40 minutes. Standing up, walking across the room, taking a few deep breaths, or gently swinging his legs. Within a month, his nighttime awakenings dropped from 4 to 1, and he told me with a smile that his morning strength had also made a comeback. You don't need to run marathons or lift weights to protect your prostate. Just move consistently. Set a timer on your phone if you have to. Get up, stretch your hips and lower back, rotate your pelvis, or simply take a short stroll. These micro movements wake up circulation, flush out waste, and signal your pelvic tissues that they are still alive and needed. Remember, blood flow is life, and nowhere is that more true than in the organs responsible for your vitality as a man. So, if your days have become still and sedentary, start reclaiming your movement. Your prostate and your sexual energy will respond faster than you might expect. Now that we've uncovered all 3 hidden habits that silently damage your prostate, let's bring it all together. In the final part, we'll talk about how these small, consistent changes can restore not just your urinary comfort, but your overall confidence, energy, and vitality. Now that you understand these 3 hidden habits, holding your urine too long, ignoring constipation, and sitting for hours without movement, I want you to remember something essential. Your prostate isn't your enemy. It's a messenger. It's been quietly doing its job for decades, and when it starts to complain, it's not trying to punish you, it's asking for relief. The beauty of this is that the solution doesn't require drastic measures. You don't need expensive treatments or complicated routines. What truly makes the difference are the small, consistent choices you make each day, the same ones that created the problem in the first place, now reversed in your favor. When you start listening to your bladder, when you move your body regularly, when you keep your digestion smooth and your circulation active, you create an internal environment where the prostate can finally relax. Blood flow improves, inflammation fades, and the pressure that once caused discomfort begins to lift. Within just a few weeks, many men notice lighter, freer urination, deeper sleep, and even renewed confidence in their sexual health. I've seen men in their 60 seconds, 70 seconds, and even late 80 seconds take back control of their comfort and vitality, not through force, but through awareness. They stop seeing their bodies as breaking down and start treating them as adaptable, resilient systems capable of healing. Your body has remarkable intelligence. It knows how to restore balance if you stop working against it. Think of every trip to the bathroom, every short walk, every glass of water as a small act of care for the organ that quietly supports so much of your manhood. So tonight, as you go to bed, take a deep breath and remind yourself you are not powerless. Your prostate doesn't define your health, your habits do. And starting tomorrow morning, you can begin to rebuild that connection. If this message resonated with you, I invite you to join our Inner Vitality community. Subscribe, share this video with a friend who needs it, and take that first small step toward comfort, confidence, and control. Because the truth is, your health is not behind you, it's in your hands. And the best is still ahead.